posted. As a reference, science lap time free air 18.4.
Well, here we are back into the qualifying session. My apologies on that. Internet decided to act up a little bit. Now I gotta figure out where we are. In the meantime, on board with Mr. Barstool Benny, a tenth and a half up on his time. Harvey right behind him in P2. Swazi looks like improved into P3. Tarzan 4th. Seeing a lot of folks come down into the 122 range now. Comacopa does appear to be on a lap. Let's get to somebody here. Raptors just starting one. We got a Mercedes. Bongit just starting one. Mr. Barstool Benny through the triple right-hander. As he is going to run towards the line here. Off the exit of the final corner, it appears he's extremely low on fuel though. Is he going to make it to the line with this amount of fuel across the start-finish line? New provisional pole at 121.5. Got the Aston Martin of the Boomster diving into pit lane. A Ferrari of Shiesty heading to the line. Improvement on his time to a 123.3. Peak hour invalidated. We are on the final times of qualifying. Swazi is getting ready to begin his final lap of the qualifying session. Across the start-finish line we go, heading towards turn 1. This Aston Martin of Rocketman also beginning his lap as well. He has not done a single lap of the qualifying session. Mr. Miller just burning fuel or burning something in the car. Not exactly sure what's going on there, but that's a weird sight. Patty Cake here making his way through the triple right-hander now into turn 15 and 16. It appears Mr. Miller is on a lap, maybe, I'm not exactly sure, but that is just a weird sight. Patty Cake, 2.5 tenths improvement into that P8 position. And then Sauber starting a time. A Red Bull improvement, no. We got a Sauber making a run towards the line. This is going to be Bald Guy beginning his lap. Skimbone Pete stays in pit lane. Shiesty is not on a lap. Going to go down to a Haas of peak hour off the exit of 15. Now into turn 16 we go. We got the start finish straight right ahead. He's going to open up the DRS flap right about now across the line. Improvement to P6. We got a Mercedes coming now. Swazi does not find any improvement on his time. Do we have the Aston Martin? Who's this? This is Skimbone Pete? No. That was Rocketman up into P4, and then Comacopa does improve to P7. Who's this off the exit? Raptor, DRS flap wide open, not burning any ERS, but he is going to come across the line. No improvement on that time. And to the next driver of the Haas, Tarzan running towards the line. Improvement, no, or yes he does. He gets above Rocketman there. Next one to the line is gonna be Harvey with the new pole time at a 121.4. So a great lap by him. Peak hour is currently not on a lap. Bald Guy racing off the exit of the final corner, and he's gonna run towards the line, and he improved 6 tenths up into that P11 position. So we do have a close grid between your top two, and then from there, it just gets extremely exciting. I think we're just waiting on Peak Hour's car to finish pulling into the garage, and indeed it did, and that's the end of qualifying. Alright, let's go through the grid order here. Well, never mind. It's going to be about 3 minutes, and then we will get ready to roll. We're going to have 29 laps around the wonderful 16 corners of Qatar. Let's see what the track limit will be like by the end of the race. Alright, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights, and they are out, and away we go down into turn 1. We get a little slippage from Swazi off the line, but in the meantime, your 2 leaders get away nicely. In the background, we got a car going around, and more cars going around, a lot going on in the background between everybody. Some end plates off as well in the Sauber Bald Guy Racing. Peak Hour does jump up into that P6 position. With the chaos ensued on the first lap, we got mediums all the way down into that P14 position, and it looks like Gimbone may have made a slight mistake as he's fallen through the grid. Off the exit, another mistake from Tarzan as he is now tumbling down through the order. The Boomster in that P8 position. We do have a little bit of a gap as the back of the grid is still continuing to fight for positions as they make their way, and Bonnet unfortunately off in the background alone by himself. As your 2 leaders up front have broken out of the 1 second DRS range to Swazi in that P3 position. DRS will be enabled on this lap. However, nobody will have it down the start-finish line straight, wow, as that is the only DRS detection zone as we make our run towards turn 1. Rocket Man is going to look down to the inside of Swazi. No contest from Swazi around the outside. He is going to lose out of position. Milla and Raptor side by side battling through turn 1. Now into 2. Milla in the inside around the outside of 3. This is going to give him the disadvantage. He is going to slot right back in behind the Red Bull as we make our way through the double right-hander here of turn 4 and 5. Your leaders up in the front. No action really going on into the heavy braking zone here. Everybody seems to be getting through nicely. The Alpine of Komakopa looking around the outside of the Sauber. He's now going to get the Haas to his inside, but no overtaking has happened. In the meantime, we had a swap from your leaders Barstool and Harvey up at the front as we make our way off the exit of 14. 1.2 seconds separating second and third place as they're looking to try and get back within the DRS range. However, Harvey goes a little wide off the exit of turn 15. He is going to open up the DRS flap down to the inside of the Williams, and he does complete the overtake. Rocket Man with the fastest lap of the race so far. That will change as we progress throughout. Natural into P5. He is going to be under attack from the Haas, looking to go around the outside of turn 2. Goes a little wide, comes back right in front of Shiesty. Nearly makes some contact. Shiesty is going to continue to follow along here in that P7 position. Right behind him we get a 5-car train here, all fighting for that P8 spot. Skinbone Pete with a 3-second penalty. He gets into the back of, oh no, that was Shiesty who got into the back of Peak Hour there in turn 6. And now Peak Hour is dropping down through the grid into 13th behind the McLaren of Fred. Back up to the front between your 2 leaders, continuously extending the gap to Rocket Man in 3rd, Swazi in 4th, is also looking to fight with him as well. As we're making our way through turn 15, now into the final corner we go. Is Rocket Man going to be able to find a way to catch the 2 leaders here? They have DRS once again down the start-finish straight, and here comes the Williams looking to the inside. And he is going to complete the move into turn 1. No fighting around the outside from the Sauber. In the background, though, we got some move going on. The Alpine of Komakopa down to the inside of Bald Guy Racing. Now Peak Hour is going to get around Fred as well, as he's going to be looking to try and catch back up to the train he was involved in previously. Raptor 1.2 seconds back from Mr. Miller here, as we're all continuously fighting our way around the circuit. Rocket Man still losing out to the 2 leaders in front. Rocket Man was on a tear at the beginning of the season. Some more competition has come in to join this Monday night tier. As now we run through the triple right-hander with your race leaders. Back through the grid, get to the back of this little battle here as they make their way. A lot of track limits are going to be coming in shortly here as we're already through lap 4. And here comes the Sauber once again on Barstool Benny down to the inside. And the Williams does have the fastest lap here on lap 4. But now Harvey is saying, let me take the wheel. I'm going to go for the fastest lap here on lap 5. As we're working our way through turn 3, now into the double right-hander here of turn 4 and 5. Rocket Man still losing time out to the 2 race leaders. The more they continue to race with that DRS, the more they're going to continue to pull away from the group. Raptor here is all up in that rear diffuser of Comacopa though, as they make their way through 5, heading into the heavy braking zone of turn 6. We make our way off the exit up towards turn 7. I'm gonna say up the hill, but I don't really think there's any elevation changes around this circuit. It seems pretty flat. A little bit, you know, maybe a bump here or there, but not a whole lot of elevation changes around Qatar. So it's kind of simple to drive, but it's really fast. You're on the throttle for a very long period of time. Burn a lot of fuel for sure around this circuit if you cannot manage. Peak Hour does work his way by his teammate. However, it looks like Tarzan may have made a small mistake because Fred was also able to get by as well. Natural here, he's still a second off the back. Harvey is not under attack from Barstool Benny into turn 1 as they continue to follow along. As Swazi here is trying to break that 1 second to Natural in P5. You got Milla here, he's 4/10 off the back of Shiesty, battling for P6. As we make our way through turn 2, now 3, heading back up towards turn 4 and 5 at the north side of the circuit, or I should say the northwest corner of the circuit, and then heading into the hairpin here of turn 6. Pit stops will be happening around, I want to say it's lap 12 to 15, about halfway through the Grand Prix. We're looking mediums to hards, hards to mediums, not really much going on strategy-wise, with everybody being on a set of medium tires. Your biggest movers so far, Shiesty up 7, Milla up 7 as well. And it looks like them two are actually getting ready to start battling. Your biggest loser is Tarzan down 8, and the Boonster and Patty Cake down 5 and 7. So that's what we got for position change in the opening of the Grand Prix. And we're going to head down the start-finish straight one more time here. Let's see if Barstool goes to the inside, and indeed he does. He's going to take over the lead of the Grand Prix once again. Natural's not going to have enough speed down the start-finish straight, but Milla is going to look to overtake Shiesty into turn 1. That will be for the P6 position. He's about 4 seconds back from Natural for a top 5 spot. Harvey, however, I did not see this occur, has a 3-second time penalty for track limits. So Harvey already is putting a little damper on a potential win here in lap 7 with that 3-second penalty. Down to Natural, still all over the rear diffuser of the Mercedes in front of him. Then you got the Ferrari Shiesty, who's working on Milla, Comacopa, Raptor, and Bald Guy. These 3 drivers right here have continuously battled since the beginning of the Grand Prix. feels a little separated at the time being, except for your two race leaders. They continuously fight and barge down the start-finish straight, lap after lap, switching positions and just continuously using that DRS. Look at how much he has made, nearly a half a second to 6/10 of a second just down the start-finish straight in DRS alone to Rocket Man. So Natural here makes his way into P4. Raptor is finally going to challenge down to the inside of the Alpine Copa, and it looks like Raptor's going to overtake for that spot. Swazi here still working on Natural, while Natural actually overtook him for that position. Copa is really up in that rear diffuser of the Red Bull in front of him here as we're making our way down into turn 6. Not much action going on really. Just a couple position swaps here and there, all trying to use the DRS to their advantage to pull away from a group behind them. But really nothing too worthy of of noting at this point in the Grand Prix. But Barstool Benny is going to get the DRS to Harvey once again down the start-finish straight. He is going to open up that DRS flap. Let's see, will he be close enough to overtake into turn 1? It does not appear to be so. So, it's another lap of the Williams following the Sauber. He does not really have to pass him, but I'm sure he would like to win the Grand Prix on the circuit as well. Copa is going to look around the outside of Raptor once again into that P8 position. He moves up. Bald Guy Racing just going to continue to follow along and allow them to fight it out amongst themselves. And staying awfully close to watching these battles here between P5 and P6 of Swazi and Milla. These two have continuously swapped positions since the start of the Grand Prix. Shiesty though is, Swazi and Natural. Milla and Shiesty. Shiesty has lost a second now to Milla, so he is outside of that DRS range looking to find some more time. Off the exit of turn 16 down the start-finish straight. One more time we go. Barstool Benny is going to close right up to the back of the Williams to the outside. Does he complete the move into the braking zone? Yes, he does. And back to your race lead goes the Williams of Barstool Benny. Swazi here, overtaking Natural. Raptor is lost out to, we got a battle between Harvey and Barstool Benny into turn 6. Harvey goes defensive down to the inside, and Barstool Benny makes a big mistake getting back onto the power there off the exit of turn 6. Rocket Man's now going to work his way up into P2. Here goes Swazi and Natural. That's a huge mistake from the Williams. He was having a great Grand Prix. He is now going to be looking to pit to take that front wing and replace it, as Mr. Miller appears to make his way through as well. Another penalty for Pete. Shiesty moves up into P6. Now Harvey is 7 seconds clear of Rocket Man in that P2 position. Shiesty here, 1.1 seconds back. Is Barstool Benny gonna go into pit lane? Indeed he is. He's gonna get off the mediums early and look to switch to those hard tires. So now the question for Benny is, what is his pace going to be like? Is he going to be able to have enough pace to recover from that incident and put himself back onto a podium finish? In the meantime, Harvey continuously extending this gap out front here to Rocketman in that P2 position. So Rocketman was in a total domination at the beginning of the season, is now under some pressure here to continue his winning ways as the Sauber is coming through about 7 seconds in front. Tarzan makes his way by Raptor, although Raptor appears to have made a mistake. Natural still working on Swazi, so this is going to now be for the final podium position, depending on the pace of Benny. As we come off the exit, Harvey is going to jump into pit lane. That is looking to kind of cover off Benny here. However, Harvey does not lose nearly as much time in pit lane. He's going to try and go about 16-17 laps on those hard tires, all the way down into P9. Swazi here, now 0.2 of a second back from Natural. Rocketman needs to find something here in this Aston Martin. Not really benefiting himself too much in this Grand Prix. It seems to be, might be running a little bit more, or a little less downforce, a more straight line, as he's struggling to get through all the corners. We're going to make our way through the triple right-hander. Swazi 3.5 tenths back now from Natural. He's off the exit of turn 15. It's only going to be a matter of time when these folks start deciding they're going to pit. Who's going to go for the undercut? It looks like it's going to be the Red Bull's going to dive in. So Natural's going to be the one to answer first here between him and the Mercedes. As Natural's dropping through, Miller and Shiesty are fighting down into turn 1. It appears Miller will continue to lead. Harvey has worked his way by Tarzan down into turn 1. Barstool Benny works his way into P12. Not exactly sure where that will put him after the pit stops. Mr. Miller's not really making or losing time to the cars in front of him. He's actually stayed around 3 seconds back, roughly, from the Mercedes and Natural while they were battling. So he does have to worry about the Ferrari of Shiesty behind him, but Shiesty is a driver that has been here in CCRL previous years. He was part of the elite tier on Wednesday nights, and he is going to jump into pit lane right behind Miller. He's not looking to go for an overcut or anything like that. He's going to follow right along. The top 4, top 5 all jump into pit lane. Now your two Saubers are going to stay out between Bald Guy and Harvey. Harvey is trying to use the ERS and DRS to his teammate. He is going to go around the outside, gets a little swirly there off the exit of turn 1. He is now going to be back into your net race lead. Swazi is going to come out behind Natural. However, Natural is outside of that 1 second range on Swazi. Mr. Miller here comes right out in front of Fred. Fred's going to be behind him, but now they got Shiesty separating the two between Fred and Miller. Barstool Benny's about 4 seconds back. He's going to be catching up to the back of them, so he's going to get involved in this fight at some point. Miller's got to find a way to close that gap to his team, to his opponent here, his in-race rival for the entire Grand Prix of Swazi. He's about a second back. He just needs to find another 10th and a half to 2/10, get himself underneath that 1 second to get DRS. In the meantime, Fred is actually under pressure now from Shiesty, as Fred's looking to get involved in this fight. He is on a set of hard tires from the beginning of the Grand Prix, so he still has one more pit stop to take. Shiesty's going to go through the inside. He's now a 1.8, nearly 2 seconds back from Mr. Miller. Mr. Miller, though, is right up to the back of Swazi, so now this might turn into a 4-car battle potentially if they do catch up to the back of Natural. Bald Guy Racing is going to jump into pit lane, so Rocket Man's going to be your net P2 for the time being. About 10.5 seconds back from Harvey, so Harvey here has the perfect car. He's got the setup, staying out of trouble, besides that 3-second time penalty he currently has. In the meantime, Barstool Benny and Fred were going to fight for position, but Barstool Benny's up into P7. He's gained an enormous amount of time to Shiesty in front of him, as he's now 1.1 seconds back. Shiesty being 2 seconds back from Mr. Miller, and Mr. Miller is trying to chase down Swazi, and Swazi's trying to chase down Natural. So we do have a good group of cars here that just relatively bots that could be fighting for that final podium position at the end of the Grand Prix. Tarzan is going to work his way around Bald Guy Racing for that P10 position. Barstool Benny 6-7 tenths back now of the Ferrari in front of him. Making our way through the triple right-hander. Harvey's beginning lap 16 here. Or is it 17 for him? 16. And now under pressure into turn 16 we go between the Williams and the Ferrari. Opens up the DRS, and here goes the Williams to the inside. Barstool Benny with a new fastest lap of a 124.7. It's only a matter of time before somebody else looks to clear that time. Swazi's starting to find some time on Natural in front of him. Meanwhile, still under some pressure behind. Bald Guy was peeking to the inside of the Haas of Tarzan, looking for that P10 position. They are going to continue to fight. Bonget is in pit lane. He dropped all the way down into P16. Just out here for a little cruise of bruising for himself tonight. Mr. Miller 7 tenths back. Boonster all over that rear diffuser of Bald Guy Racing. He goes, fakes the outside, looks to the inside. That's going to give him the outside of turn 7. And he is going to slot back behind. However, he's kind of pulling some moves, forcing Bald Guy Racing to take some weird lines through some of these corners as we're making our way through turn 10. Mr. Miller now, 3 tenths back from Swazi. Swazi's lost about a half a second to Natural in front. Into turn 15 we go. Power back down and heading towards the start-finish line to begin lap 17. Mr. Miller to the left-hand side uses the DRS to his advantage. This is going to help him close the gap up to Natural in front. They just need to continue to work together here to make this work. Miller now trying to find a way to get up into that final podium position. Barstool Benny is in that P6 spot. He was fighting for the Grand Prix earlier. Made a slight mistake off the exit of turn 6 on about lap 11 into the inside wall. Lost that front wing and had to box and come back out. Swazi though, he's closed up, and Barstool Benny is now within 1 second of the cars in front of him. Mr. Miller has not closed the gap at all to Natural in front of him. Bald Guy Racing still putting the pressure on the Aston Martin for P11. Back up to the front, your P4 of Milla, Swazi in 5th, and Barstool Benny in 6th, making our way into the final corner. They're going to have the DRS zone right in front of him, down the start-finish straight. The Racing Bulls is going to be at the disadvantage here to the Mercedes. Mercedes looking around the outside, Swazi goes. He's now going to be into turn 1 in front. Well done. Natural 2 seconds ahead up the road. Fred is going to finally box to get off the hard tires. 18 laps on him. He's going to be looking to potentially go to the mediums to the end of the Grand Prix. Barstool Benny is going to work his way around Mr. Miller there as they work their way into turn 4 and 5. So now Barstool Benny is in that P5 spot, looking to put the pressure on Swazi here in the Mercedes. Making our way off the exit of turn 7. Under 2 seconds now. They're finding time to the Red Bull in front in that final podium position of 3rd place. It's the Mercedes, the Williams, and a Racing Bull, all fighting for that final podium position. Well, actually, fighting to get into position to fight for the final podium position against Natural here up the road. Gonna have about 11 laps to go here. 11 laps to go. Miller into turn 16, back onto the power. He is gonna be looking to use that DRS. Here goes Barstool Benny around to the left-hand side. Here comes Miller though, using his DRS full and closed right up to that rear diffuser of Swazi. 1.5 seconds now for Benny to get after Natural here. The Boonster does get around Bald Guy Racing. Now the Boonster breaks inside the top 10. Shiesty's sitting nice and quiet, 5 seconds back from Miller in front of him. Comacopa 5 seconds behind him. Tarzan a second and a half. And it looks like Patty Cake is going to be making a pit stop here. As we're all working our way through turn 11 up into the triple right-hander. Here we go. We got about 4 cars now, all within DRS. All going to be looking to fight and scrap for this final podium position. Skimbone Pete right in front. And he's going to pull out of the way to let these folks go through. Down the start-finish straight once again. DRS flaps open up wide. Barstool Benny with another fastest lap. His consistency is there. And that is proven by 2 fastest laps since being on these hard tires. And then been separated by at least 3 laps in between the 2 fastest laps. So Barstool Benny's showing a lot of consistency here at Qatar. Unfortunate mistake has put himself into a position to where he's fighting for 3rd and not the race win, as he is in that P4 spot right now. He's got some pressure behind him. You got a 4-car fight going on right here. Swazi pulls right up to that rear diffuser in turn 6 of the hairpin, and now gonna jump on board here with Swazi. He has the look of a better view. It looks like Barstool and Benny wanted to go around the outside of turn 7, but instead decided to slot right back behind. We're working our way through 11 now. Up into the triple right-hander here. On the apex sub 12. Now through 13 into 14 we go. Into the penultimate corner. We're going to have about 9 laps to go here. And now into the final corner of turn 16. DRS flaps are going to be able to open up wide here down the start-finish straight. Natural going to go to the inside to break that toe. It's not going to really benefit him. Swazi is looking to go around the outside as well, and that's going to be 2 positions lost for Natural there down that start-finish straight. Now the question is, can they hang on to the back of this Williams here as we're making our way through Sector 1? And off the edge of the turn sits. This is where it seems to be. Swazi is finding his pace a little bit more. He does open up the gap slightly to the cars behind him off the exit of the hairpin. Benny has now broken out of the DRS to the Mercedes behind. Milla has fell out of the DRS to Natural in front of him. Natural's got the pressure on Swazi. Down the start finish straight we go. Begin lap 22. And through turn 4. As we're making our way off the hairpin, still under a lot of pressure. Miller's still continuously losing time. Barstool Benny's 8 seconds back from Rocketman up the road, and he just picked up a 3-second time penalty there. So now he's got to extend out another second here over Natural MP4. Shiesty has lost some time to Tarzan behind him. Tarzan's now looking to make up some ground against the Ferrari in front of him. Comacopa, though, is on a hard charge here. He's trying to get within DRS of Shiesty right in front of him. He is potentially going to get the DRS off of this Ferrari. Yes, he does. And however, Comacopa did just pick up a 3-second time penalty. Make our way down the start finish straight into turn 1. Swazi's still going to continue to follow behind. The Boonster and Bald Guy racing, fighting for that 10th place position. The Boonster does come out in front on lap 23 of 29, and we got Harvey out front. He is 12.2 seconds ahead of Rocketman. Barstool Benny in P3, Natural in 4th, Swazi in 5th. Then we got Mr. Miller, 1.3 seconds back in 6th. Shiesty, 9 seconds behind them in 7th. Tarzan, a second and a half behind Shiesty in 8th. Comacopa, 2 seconds back in 9th. Might have made a mistake and lost a lot of time to the Haas in front. The Boonster in the Aston Martin, 4.5 seconds back in 10th as we're going through the grid. We got Bald Guy in 11th, Raptor in 12th, Peak Hour 13th, Fred in 14th, Bong at 15th, Patty Cake in 15th, and then Skinbone Pete in 17th there at the bottom of the grid. In the meantime, Swazi is going to go around the outside of Natural and overtake into turn 1 once again, well ahead before the braking zone. No contest there for that P3 or P4 spot. Natural's gonna continue to follow along nice and tight behind, and Mr. Miller he seems to find time and then lose it, but that is due to the DRS advantage. Down the start finish straight between these two. Really hard fight going on here between the Mercedes and the Red Bull. A little deep there from Natural, as now he's outside the 1 second range, and here comes Miller though. He's nearly within a second of Natural. He's trying to close up that gap. Miller can just breathe in those exhaust fumes trying to get into that DRS range once again. Was not able to close it. As you see, P4, P5, and P6 separated by 1.2 seconds apart from each other. Heading down into turn 1 we go. Now Miller's got back within that DRS. Is he going to be able to close up that gap? He's fallen outside of a second. Tarzan overtakes Shiesty into turn 1 for P7. So now Shiesty's going to fall into P8. Mr. Miller still fighting hard down into the hairpin of turn 6. Really trying to stick inside that DRS, but not helping him out much. He's 9/10 of a second back. So he's right on the cusp of getting it, but not getting it at the same time. Shiesty is going to overtake Tarzan. Not sure if that may have been contact or if it's just too much on the throttle off the exit. But it appears, based on the location, it may have just been getting on the throttle there a little too much from turn 6. And around goes Tarzan. Does he have any damage? Indeed, he does not. So Tarzan is going to continue on with his day. Mr. Miller, 7/10 of a second back from Natural. Fighting for the P5 position to start lap 26. He is going to get the DRS, but he's not going to be looking to overtake into turn 1. Not really close enough. Miller still fighting to get up to the back of Natural in P5. Make our way off the exit of turn 6 into turn 7. Through turn 10 and 11 we go. We got a battle on our hands for this final spot inside the top 5 between the Racing Bulls of Miller and the Red Bull of Natural. They are currently the closest battle on circuit. Everybody else is outside of DRS range from each other for the time being. Oh, and a big mistake from Natural coming down to the final few laps of the race off the exit of turn 16. And he is going to drop down into P6 as Miller is now going to overtake for that 5th place position. Bald Guy Racing has closed up to the back of the Boomster here. He did not get the DRS though. Harvey, 17 seconds clear out front. You got a Mercedes. The bonnet appeared to have made a big mistake in the back. Bald Guy Racing and the Boomster will be fighting nice and hard for this P9 position, as both of them does have penalties. Let's pull up these penalties. They'll be fighting with a 10-second difference between them. So it looks like Bald Guy Racing is currently at the advantage. But I say the heck with that. We are just going to deal with what's on the circuit for the time being. As making our way into turn 10. A lot of penalties here at Qatar. As making our way through the triple right-hander. Into the penultimate corner to work our way down into the final corner. Back up to the front, Barstool Benny has caught up to the back of Rocket Man as they fight through turn 5. Bald Guy Racing is going to work his way by the Boomster. Heading through turn 9, down into turn 10. Getting close to begin the final lap here. As Harvey is going to start the final lap here at Qatar. Barstool Benny is not really giving much room to Rocketman in front of him. Into the final corner. We begin the final lap between P2 and P3. DRS open and Benny to the inside. Overtakes the Aston Martin behind him. And he's going to lead his way into turn 1. The Boonster right behind Bald Guy, almost outside of that DRS range here as they're making their way through the penultimate corner to fight for this P9 position on the circuit. Into the final corner we go, and now down the start-finish straight. The Boonster has the DRS. Not a lot of battery, but the Sauber does not have much himself, and to the inside the Boonster goes and back into P9. Barstool Benny does overtake Rocketman. Now, is he going to be able to extend out that gap? He's got to find a way to get within, get 3 seconds here in this final sector. Don't know if it will be enough for him to do it as he's making his way through the triple right-handers. In the meantime, to the line we go. Harvey will be your winner here at the Qatar Grand Prix. And through the penultimate corner we are, down into turn 16. Barstool Benny is 2 seconds over Rocketman, and it appears Rocketman will come home in that P2 spot. No, he'll come home in P3, giving that position to Barstool Benny. Swazi here in P4. Mr. Miller in 5th. Right behind them, Natural, who had a great race for himself, will come home in 6th place. Shiesty off the exit of the final corner, penalty free in 7th. Komakopa in 8th. The Boonster making his way around the final corner, trying to break up here. And he's going to be 10th. Well, Bald Guy will jump him for 9th. Raptor off the exit of turn 16. He's going to make his run towards the start-finish line along with Tarzan and Peak Hour as well. And the two teammates there, 12th and 13th. Fred has head into the final corner. And it looks like Skinbone Pete is diving into pit lane. Fred will come across the line, and that will be your race.